it's just Martine, and welcome to the behind the scenes video for the 12 TBRs of Christmas 2024. The 12 TBRs of Christmas is a video project that I try to do every year where I set 12 secret TBRs, I read them throughout the year, and I make videos for you that come out between December 25th and 12 days after that. All of those videos for this year are live now, so you should definitely go check out the playlist, but every year I also document my journey in making the 12 TBRs of Christmas because it's kind of an undertaking. Every year previously, I have started my behind the scenes vlog in January. It's the end of March. No need for alarm, no need to panic. I do feel kind of bad because I haven't done absolutely nothing for the 12 TBRs so far this year. I just hadn't started this vlog, which is actually kind of a theme. I have not been doing a good job of filming introductions yet. I should actually probably pull up my Notion and see where I am legitimately. So far, I have 8 ideas that I'm definitely doing. Those include the 2 Buzzwordathon videos that I do every year. I might drop them for next year. I kind of intended to drop them for this year, but then in my Buzzwordathon vlog for this year, I said that I do it every year, so then I felt the pressure to do it. Whatever. The point is, I am doing those 2 videos, and then I have my 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon video, my double blind book challenge, my queer classics, the first annual Hunger Games, the celebrity recommendation books, the most secret TBR, and then I do have an idea that I don't have any books for yet, which is Connections Picks My TBR, but I do really want to do that one. So I'm still on the hunt for a couple of ideas. I still need to pick books for some of these, and for most of them, I need to do a heck of a ton of reading and also filming. I'm trying to look and decide which of these I filmed an intro for, and I'm not sure it's any of them, which is not a great sign. So as you can see, making introductions has not been my strong suit so far this year. Staying on top of my book reviews has also not been my strong suit. Reading, I'm going a little slower than I would like in order to feel comfortable with the pace that I'm setting for the number of books I've gotten through so far, but at least I have been reading. The problem is everything after that. Also technically before that, like the introductions. But here's a stack of books that I've read, for instance, but I have not yet reviewed for their individual videos. The concerning part is that this is not all of them. In fact, most of the ones that I have yet to review are ebooks, and so I don't have a physical copy to sit there on my desk and shame me. There are a couple of things that I think are serving as barriers. I can tell you that like these 2 I haven't reviewed yet because I finished them early last week, I want to say, and I was on a time crunch. I was leaving for a conference, so my focus was on finishing them so I didn't have to bring them along, not on sitting down to review them. So I've got a list going of books that I need to review. I have all introductions to make basically, and then looking at the reading list, I mentioned that I'm a little behind from where I want to be, but what does that mean practically? I mean, so remember first of all that I don't have all of my videos narrowed down yet or like finalized, but as it stands right now, there are 42 books there. It will grow. I read like 7 of them, but I think I haven't updated maybe 1 of them. 7 out of 42 is 16%. It is a quarter of the way through the year, so doing good. What I'm going to do is, since I already seem to have the time and energy to talk to you right now, I'm going to go and review one of these books, probably at least this one. Hopefully I'll talk to you sooner rather than later. Hi, long time no see, but it's August 18th, and I have some pretty serious updates for you. The first is that I'm not sure that I had all 12 of my ideas by the time I talked to you last, but I have all 12 ideas and I've had them for a little bit now. The only problem with these 12 ideas, aside from the fact that it's a lot of books and I'm nowhere close to finishing, is that there are 2 TBRs that I still don't fully know exactly what I'm reading for them. One, I've just been too lazy to sit down and pick them out, so I have the Connections information from the day I played Connections for this, but I don't have books related to those prompts yet that I've picked. And then also in my TBR crime video, there's one that I have to play another TBR game for. I have also been too lazy to do that. So there are 5 books that I still don't know what they are yet, but other than that, all 78 of them have been picked. And I'm happy to report that the year is almost 2/3 of the way over, but that my reading for 12 TBRs is only 1/3 of the way over. I'm officially 1/3 of the way done. I made this spreadsheet today because my Notion page was not giving me the information that I needed. Anyway, so I made this chart, and as you can see, 1/3 done, and with 1/3 of the year left, we've got 2/3 of the reads to go. Starting like a month ago, I started reading 30 minutes for this every single day, which has helped tremendously because it was not close to 1/3 read before I started that. I've read 26 books for this so far. Let's see how many of those I've read since I started reading my 30 minutes a day. 6 of those 26 books were read in the past month because I sat down and read 30 minutes a day. So for a while now, for the next couple months, I'm going to plod along with my 30 minutes a day rule. That's still not going to be enough because if we think about it, if in about 1 month I read 6 books and I have, let's just say I don't count the rest of August, September, October, November for full reading, that's 3 times 6. I'd only finish 18 books out of the 52 that I need to read. Luckily, I know that my reading plans for October are almost strictly to read 12 TBRs books because for Chaostober this year, that's the plan. This is for a couple of reasons. One, I'm way more behind on my 12 TBRs books this year than I was at this time last year. I was still behind, but I was not this behind. This is like unwell levels of behind. And 2, I remember what it felt like during October of last year when I wasn't allowed to really read books for 12 TBRs because I was reading books from the Dollar Tree for Chaostober, and I had pretty much run out of those for 12 TBRs books. And I remember how anxious it made me going into November and then the beginning of December. So October will be the month of reading these books. That said, 52 is still a lot to go. That's 1 book per week of the year still left to go. Not as in like the weeks that we have left, but as in the whole year. So yeah, it's time to get down to business. And that's not even touching editing. There's one video that I've completely read for. It's the first Buzzwordathon video because it's over halfway through the year and I kept up with that pretty well. So half the prompts are done, that's a video. But other than that, no. So wish me luck. On this, the 13th of October, I have officially read half of my books for 12 TBRs, which is great, a huge milestone moment, and I'm definitely celebrating. But also, here I am, mid-October, only halfway through. So, yikes. The good news is, for Chaostober, I'm focusing on 12 TBRs books. So in fact, 11% of my 12 TBRs books for the whole year have so far been read in the month of October, which is incredible progress. If we could get another 10%, that'd be sick. If we could get more, that'd be even better, but no promises, because this weekend Bailey gave me a challenge. I was 2 books away from the halfway mark, so Bailey was like, okay, Saturday and Sunday, read 2 books, and then start reading your longest one. So I'm going to, but that's going to take a while, obviously, because it's the longest one, so we'll see. But that's the update. The good news is I'm really feeling the heat, and so I'm plowing through some of these. The other good news is a lot of them are pretty short. So thank you, me, for doing that. Even though I didn't do that on purpose, thank you. You might have picked 78 books to read for this challenge, but at least some of them are short. It's December 20th, and today I'm going to finish the last book for the 12 TBRs of Christmas. I haven't started editing anything, though. Before I go in and start editing, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the order in which these videos will come out. Order is important for a couple of different reasons, and so I created my order a few months ago. It's important for practical reasons. I always want to make sure I have enough cushion just in case things don't really go my way, so that I can know I have long enough to make the content that I want to make. For instance, I was very, very behind on reading for 12 TBRs this year, and so in order to make sure I had earlier TBRs ready, even if I didn't finish reading by the 25th, which luckily I have, I created an order so I could know which books needed to be prioritized and finished first. So I made this kind of like Kanban board in my closet back at school where I had on Post-it notes all of the different books that I still had left to read, and I put them in order of the number video that they're going in so I could see how soon they had to be done relatively compared to one another. It's also important from a storytelling perspective to me, and I'm not always the best at thinking about storytelling on my channel, and if you look back at past years, my 12 TBRs are in no way a good example of storytelling. But when I can, I try to be conscious of the way in which the order that I post them in affects the overall impact of the 12 TBRs. This does not matter so much for every single TBR. Some are incredibly generic, and it doesn't really matter what order they go in. So I like to use those less date-specific ones to fill in the gaps between the important dates, or the ones that feel better posting on a specific date. For instance, this year I knew that I wanted to end 12 TBRs with the premiere of TBR Crime, so that obviously is going to be posting on the last day. To start off this year, I went with the secret TBR? The meta secret TBR, as it were, for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of a generic idea, and although we want 12 TBRs to kick off with a bang, the reality of the situation is that a lot of people will not necessarily be watching on Christmas Day. People are very busy on Christmas Day, so it's okay to have a slightly more generic one, or one that will be shorter, because we're not going to get immediately high watch time on the 25th. Usually. But also, I think this is a really fun TBR to start with because it introduces the idea of a secret TBR. It's kind of the perfect taste of what viewers are going to be getting for the next 12 days. Here's a very blatant example of what the whole thing is about. But on the 26th, people are typically just lazing about or spending family time, relaxing, unwinding from Christmas and the year in general. And so I want a real good kicker. So one of my best ideas of the year would typically go on the 26th, something that I feel like will have high click-through rate, good watch time, etc. So this year, one of the earliest ideas I had for this year, one of the biggest projects for this in terms of reading and editing, I'm putting the Hunger Games video on the 26th. Although I still think my generic TBRs are cool, so specific genre groups, for example, they are less spectacular or dazzling than some of the bigger ideas that I have every year for 12 TBRs. And so I like to generally fit them in between bigger TBRs or more exciting TBRs. I wouldn't want the whole thing to go like lower effort video in the front and then all the high effort videos at the end. I wouldn't want all high effort and then lower effort videos at the end. We want a nice bouncy effect, if you will. So the next TBR this year will be the Queer Classics. It's a lot calmer compared to the Hunger Games TBR, and there's less of a challenge that comes with it in compared to the next TBR, which would be the Double Blind Book Challenge. It's nice to balance the TBRs that will have less commentary and the TBRs that will have more commentary, or TBRs where the video will largely center around the reviews versus TBRs where additional information is provided, such as what my friends expected versus what happened in terms of the Blind Book Challenge. December 29th, I slotted in the John Green rereads and ranking. That was just an open space that I had. It felt good to go there. We're good. Also, it feels good for me to keep that video in 2024. Thought a lot about the significance of the year 2014, and so we'll do a decade from that. So keeping it in December instead of into January is a good fit for me. It's also one of those videos that has more reads than some other videos because there are, I believe, 7. And then December 30th and 31st, whenever I do Buzzwordathon videos and I split it into 2, I reserve the last 2 days of the year for this because it is a year-long challenge. So I want to stay within the year and I want to end the year off with accomplishing a specific goal. Because those two get kind of repetitive though, I want to make sure that right after that on January 1st, I'm coming in with something that's a little newer, a little more exciting. So in that slot, I've entered the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, or however I'm going to name it, challenge, where I was like linking books together based on various attributes. I think that's more of a creative idea, and so we'll see like me following somebody else's prompts and then me designing a way to choose books. Buzzwordathon versus Kevin Bacon challenge. And then around that time, it's been like a couple videos since we had a really long TBR, and so I felt like that was a good time to slot in the Kindle Clear Out Bind-Ups edition. Kindle Clear Out is also a series that I want to make more regularly on my channel in the new year, so putting it in January instead of December also felt right for me. I then have Connections and Celebrity Recommendations. These two could have been interchangeable. I don't know. I just put them there. They filled in the gap right before TBR Crime. But if I were to think more specifically about this decision, the Kindle Clear Out Bind-Ups, it's more just like a list instead of a particular creative challenge. So I put Connections next because it's more of a creative challenge. And then Celebrity Recommendations are more list style too. And then into TBR Crime, which is more of a creative approach. That's the vibe. And so my first task will be editing the most secret TBR. Although in reality, my first task should probably be filming my announcement video because that comes out on Sunday and I haven't filmed it yet or edited it. So that should probably be my first task. But I think one thing that I'm going to do is take my hard drive, import the footage from the most secret TBR, and see what I still need for it. For instance, I know I need an intro. I probably need an outro. So making a note of that has to be filmed versus what already exists would be helpful. And then the video right after that, Hunger Games, is such a big endeavor because I didn't film any reviews as I read them through the year that I should really start thinking through how I'm going to do that and assigning rankings and ratings and stuff. The first task will be the announcement. Look at me actually filming the announcement. It took like 2 minutes. Isn't that right, Ernie? 2 whole minutes. The first TBR went up just fine. I made the thumbnail. I uploaded it this morning. Perfectly fine. The Hunger Games video. The Hunger Games video. The Hunger Games video has been my project for the rest of the day. I'm not sure I'm completely happy with it, but I am proud of how hard I worked on it. Again, literally all day. The longest video I've ever made and the most complex, I feel like. So go me. But here's the real behind the scenes tea. The way that I played the Hunger Games this year was not how I intended to play the Hunger Games. This was a way that I thought of playing it. Like, I thought of making up some rules for myself and using randomizers and all that stuff like I ended up doing. But until like yesterday, my actual plan was to use ChatGPT to run a simulation. So I spent all this time preparing ChatGPT. I was like, do you think you can do this? It was like, yes. I was like, here's all the information about the participants. It was like, okay. I was like, this is what I want you to do in the simulation. And it was like, okay. And then I kept asking it to run the simulation, and it kept making really big and annoying mistakes, like including participants that I didn't tell it to, or not including all of my participants. And I was just getting really annoyed at it. Like, I tried for hours and hours and hours to make it work, and I was like, it's not gonna work. So in a panic, that night I created the rules for the game that I ended up playing, which I think it's pretty cool because lots and lots of people do TBR games. And I guess now you know from the last 12 TBRs video that I am no exception. I don't really know of like wrap-up games. Like, people do book brackets. This was a really intense book bracket, I guess. If it was less complex to make and like took less time and effort, I would consider doing it more often. But if people like it, I would like to make it an annual 12 TBRs tradition. But I guess we'll have to see how you feel. So please let me know if you watched that video and you had any thoughts. I'd love to hear them. It was a very different video for me in so many different ways. I mean, I don't say hello humans, it's just Martine. I didn't have like a true outro. I wanted to leave you with the intense and like suddenness of victory in Hunger Games and just say, here's your victor, and like, that's the end. I think there's something really jarring about that that's very purposeful to me. Like, in most cases, I wouldn't want a jarring end to the video, but in this case, I think that's appropriate. The idea of a Hunger Games is very jarring in general. So I hope people liked it, because I made up these rules like yesterday or the day before, and then played it all today. It's, by the way, the 23rd, Christmas Eve, and this is the quote-unquote Boxing Day video, which it's good because it's so long, but is bad because I needed it done sooner than other videos, and it took a lot. Like, I'm saying I sat in this spot all afternoon, and it was really hard because I knew it was going to take a long time to film, and I don't have enough storage on my phone. And so I was filming on my computer. I was doing a screen recording on my computer and a recording of me on my computer, but I knew the audio wouldn't be good there. So I was audio recording on my phone, like in the voice memos app, using my microphone. So I had those 3 things to edit at the same time. And iMovie is stupid, where you like can't slice down and go from there. You have to slice each one individually and cut them individually, and so that was a whole pain, but I'm at least glad that I remembered to clap to sync all the things up. That's the tea. I've been working on file management for other things that I've named all of them, but that's really it. I still have lots of filming to do. I have like reactions for the Double Blind Book Challenge that I have to film. I have reviews that I still have to film. I have intros and outros that I have to film. So lots and lots of things to still film and then edit. This feels like a huge relief. Like, everything else feels doable in a way that this did not feel doable. So proud of myself for that. And I guess the next one up to work on is the Queer Classics one, which should be breezy. I know I need to film an intro. I know I need to film an outro, but it should be breezy. Welcome to the behind the scenes reality. I moved outside to get away from the elephants walking above my head, only for dogs to be barking in the back. The good news is I finished and uploaded the Hunger Games video. Now I'm really trying to film some things and it is not going well. It is going less than well. Yep, it is going less than well, some might say, including that dog. Love that for me. It's December 29th and things are going slow but steady. 1 to 2 videos per day for the next several days until I'm done. And I could rush to the finish line, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. I did want to jump in here and say something funny, which is that I made a list of like everything left to do for 12 TBRs, and I have started calling a specific type of editing that I do an Oreo edit. An Oreo edit is just when you already have the filling and you don't have the cookies yet, and you edit the filling. So basically, I have all my reviews, but I haven't filmed an intro and an outro, and I edit the middle. And for some people, it might not make sense why I haven't filmed intros and outros yet for things, even when I filmed all the reviews, or why I would edit the middle before I even film the intro and the outro instead of just having all the footage and then editing it. But one thing that I'm really finding to be helpful this year that's helping with how I like the end product is that sometimes you film an introduction with a particular idea in mind of what the video is going to look like, and then you end up making a very different video until the intro feels like weird and you're not telling the story exactly that you could be telling with the video based on the footage that you do have. And then for the outro, it's like you didn't sum up properly what actually happened because you haven't watched all the footage and seen what actually happened. It's annoying in the sense that I have to like stop and film an intro and an outro while I'm editing, and that I don't have everything like waiting for me there in iMovie ready to go when I start editing a video. But it's nice from a storytelling perspective that I get to see like what the story is and then set it up correctly and then conclude it correctly. So I'm liking doing my Oreo edits, even if it's kind of annoying, and it's giving me end products that I'm a little more proud of. So yay. Happy December 31st. It's the last day of 2024. And the reason that the smile on my face is so big is because I am almost done. This is the slowest I have ever edited the 12 TBRs. But like, that's also kind of not true. I have been editing as fast as I can go. I have just, for some reason, had way longer videos than not only I have ever made in past years for 12 TBRs, but than I have ever made on my channel in general. Why am I suddenly so chatty? I make a weekly vlog. It's less than 10 minutes. I review 5 books. For some reason, we've been here forever. I have not calculated the total amount of time that all my videos came out to this year, like combined, but it's a lot. And that's why I'm filming this in spite of the fact that you might be able to hear some lawn tools happening around here, because I have caught up to this moment in this vlog. And so I have this left to finish, and then I have the bloopers left, and that's it. This morning I edited TBR Crime, and then we're done. And so many times it felt like I would not finish this project. Even once I felt like I was on my way, things in my personal life happened that made me doubt that I could do this, but I am strong, and in spite of how difficult and or stressful it might have been, I have had so much fun this year, and I am so proud of the videos that I have been making. As with every year, I feel like I learned some things this year. At the beginning of this year, as you saw in this vlog, I thought it was a bad thing that I hadn't filmed my intros. And now as I'm editing, I'm finding that maybe that's a method that I prefer and want to keep purposefully in the future. But who's to say? Maybe if I did a better job at storyboarding my vlogs along the way, that wouldn't be the case. But then again, you never know how you're going to react to a book until you read it. So like setting it up properly, I don't know that I could. Anyway, so some things that seem like mistakes were actually advantages in the end. Every year I think I want to start editing earlier. Every year I don't actually start editing earlier. This is the longest it's taken me to edit them. I'm usually done before Christmas Day. I really just wanted to finish before the end of the year this year. So go me. With that, I'm going to end this vlog. If you liked it, oh, I'm using both of my hands. With that, I'm going to end this vlog. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below which was your favorite TBR this year. Are there any repeats that you would like to see return next year? And subscribe for more bookish and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!